Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by lynda.com. Learn what you want, when you want, with access to over 2,700 high-quality online courses, all for one low monthly price. To try it free for 7 days, visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid. That's LYNDA.com/allaboutandroid. And by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace which connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit prosper.com/twit and receive a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 172, recorded on Tuesday, July 29th, 2014. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Gina Trapani.
Like Voltron, we assemble.
Although I don't have my full Voltron force, so bear with me. I'm a little rough around the edges this week.
I understand. You were at Comic-Con.
I was at Comic-Con. Got back yesterday.
Kind of your Super Bowl.
It's pretty. The closest the comic book world comes to is the Super Bowl. But hey, I saw so many fans of all that.
Okay, go ahead and name. Oh, okay. First the fans, and then you got to name drop.
I saw some great fans who brought me Snapple to the booth, which is kind of awesome. I wasn't even going to name drop people I saw at Comic-Con, but no, I mean, I literally had people coming up to me with their phones going, "Hey, love All About Android," and whatever. One fan I met, Joyce. She stopped by the booth. She's a big fan of Twit and big fan of All About Android.
Awesome.
There was another fan. It's on Twitter. I got to find his name. But Rudy at Comrade Rudy on Twitter. We had signings with our creators. Bryan K. Vaughn, the writer of Saga. The tickets are gone in 2 minutes. Like people come to the booth and we've got a limited number of tickets. He didn't get one. But he tweeted at me and said, "Hey, I didn't get a ticket." I said, "Come by the booth, find me later." And I got him. I gave him a little Android love.
Remember that for next year.
Yeah, exactly. So no, but it was great to see so many All About Android faithful in the crowd at San Diego. So it was pretty cool.
And multi-packs of Snapple, which is just kind of an impressive.
That's my fuel. I needed that going.
Apparently, you're known for that fuel.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's great to be back. It honestly is. So.
Yeah, it's awesome having all three of us here because it's been a while since this has happened. And it's fantastic to welcome back to the show Eric Ravenscraft, writer at Lifehacker. How's it going, Eric?
Hello.
Good to have you back, sir. It's been a while. Yeah, absolutely. You wrote, you're writing a lot. You're very prolific at Lifehacker, but you wrote an article about Android security, which kind of summarizes the many things that you can do to make your device more secure. And, a lot of these things that are in here, things like, let's see here, we've got Android Device Manager, of course, for tracking, adding owner info to your lock screen, phone encryption, all this kind of stuff. It's stuff that you've heard before, but it's nice to have it in a list because honestly, if you did these 5 things, you're probably sitting safe with your device. And I think a lot of people kind of take it for granted, myself included.
Yep, that article came from realizing just how much I wasn't doing to protect my phone. So
turns out when you write an article like this, you kind of have to practice what you preach, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just put my to-do list on Lifehacker itself.
Yeah. Now, the whole two-factor authentication, I feel like we've talked about this. There was a change to two-factor authentication very recently that made it a little bit easier. I was trying to dig up exactly what happened there, but that's been my problem with two-factor authentication is it just sounds too like imposing, too complicated. So I'm not going to do it. Even though it's intimidating. Yeah. Even though I know it's probably the right thing to do. Are you rocking that after this article or?
Yeah, I had two-factor authentication set up for a while, but I was using the SMS method and I almost got locked out of my account while changing carriers. And someone said, "Why aren't you using Authenticator?" Good point. So I'll just install that app.
And that actually makes it easier then?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just, you pull up the app on your phone and it's got codes for every account that you've got logged in. So as long as you've got that app on your phone, you're fine. You don't need a network or anything.
Interesting. What about you, Gina? Two-factor authentication, is that something that you do on your device or?
I do it for my Google accounts. I should do it for many more accounts than I actually do, but I use the SMS method, but with Google Voice. So I get I get the text message with the code, to my desktop and whatever. I've been meaning to actually just spend some time locking down all of my accounts and getting Authenticator set up. I had Authenticator set up, and then I switched devices, and I got messed up, and I couldn't figure out how to, use it across a couple of Google accounts. That's all since been cleared up and is apparently really easy now. So I just gotta buckle down and do it. I loved Eric's piece though. And I was really glad that I didn't write that piece on Lifehacker, because that means that I would have been have to practice. This is a problem with Lifehacker, is you really have to practice what you preach.
Fair enough. Before we get into the news, Google Glass banned at Comic-Con panels. Did this rock Comic-Con, or was it kind of like,
no, it didn't. It's not. But here's the thing: it's not Google Glass banned at Comic-Con panels. It's recording devices banned at Comic-Con panels, because a lot of the programming especially in Hall H, where they do the big movie things, stuff like that, they're showing these clips,
trailers.
Exactly. So it's just the fact that Google Glass also is a recording device. Google Glass wasn't singled out. That said, I saw a whole lot of glass on the con floor.
Did you?
A lot of people wearing it.
Really?
A lot of people wearing it there, which is interesting. But yeah, no, I didn't hear anybody complaining about it or whatever. It's well, let's not cause a dust up there, PC Magazine. Yeah, but it was just recording devices that were banned. So and not everywhere. Like they were on the con floor, it was fine. I saw people using it. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Before we dive right in, just to give you a sense of what we have to talk about, because there's a lot to talk about today, we'll be discussing something called Fake ID, which is a new kind of security vulnerability. Kind of falls in line with previous vulnerabilities that we've talked about as far as our advice to you. A possible Motorola Nexus. If you've been holding out for a Motorola Nexus, you might get your day here. Interesting news there. We have the Amazon Fire Phone in-house.
We're gonna set on fire.
Are we? No, I can't wait for that. We have the OnePlus One to show off. We talked about it a little bit last week. More material design from Google apps are rolling out.
It's a good hardware week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of hardware to talk about. But before hardware, it's all about the news.
This week in Android news.
Wow.
Thank you, Bryan.
That bump just got a little better.
That's what was missing all along.
Well done, Bryan. All right. I'm glad Bryan stepped up his game for my return. But speaking of hardware and various things like that, we've been, for the past, I feel like it's been a year or so, Tizen has been looming on the horizon. It's this thing that we know Samsung is working on that, will it replace Android for Samsung? Will they still, they're putting it on the watches. It's like, oh, interesting. But some recent reports are kind of wondering if Tizen's going to be dead before it even gets off the ground. So what was supposed to be Samsung's first Tizen smartphone has been delayed indefinitely, according to reports, which signals many to speculate whether Tizen on a smartphone will in fact ever happen. Last year, Tizen smartphones were supposed to hit the market and ultimately never showed. Partners like NTT Docomo started mixing their own plans to launch Tizen phones. And now, yet again, Samsung is pulling Tizen back, saying the device will miss Q3 at the very least. And why this is important to Android is because Samsung's dominance on Android is a big factor in what OS they're going to run with their phones. And if they move away from Android to Tizen, they're going to take 30% of the smartphone marketplace with them. And so that kind of brings a question that if they're a dominant player in Android, why would they move away from it? So maybe those conversations are happening at Samsung. I don't know. But Tizen doesn't, I don't know. When we'll see a Tizen phone is going to be a question.
If Stephen Von Nichols wrote a good piece about this at ZDNet, and it's all speculation at this point, but he says that he expects Samsung to quietly put Tizen to sleep over the next couple of months, just because of the repeating history that we're seeing here with Samsung dedicating itself to Tizen, and then now it just can't quite pull the trigger. What else? Eric, do you have any thoughts on Samsung and their dominance in Android as relates to their potential kind of move to Tizen? What do you think about that?
I mean, well, I'd kind of like to see Samsung put out a Tizen phone, but I feel like when you talk about Samsung's dominance in the market, it's a bit like saying Samsung manufactures stadiums and Queen's playing at Wembley Stadium over here. If Samsung builds this stadium, is that going to kill Queen?
Or is Queen going to move over there and start playing at that stadium?
Yeah, like you got to attract developers and customers to a platform. You don't just build a phone.
Yeah.
So I think declaring Tizen dead before it even gets to the market is premature, but I'd like to see it happen at least once to see what it would be like.
Well, I have a feeling it would be a lot like what we've seen from Samsung already. You know what I mean? Like their Tizen, from what I understand, is going to look and operate very similar to what they already put out because they're all about their skin anyways.
But also and at the same time they wouldn't just yank Android from all their devices and then roll out Tizen line wide. Like they would.
Wouldn't they though? Because what did they just do with the Galaxy Gear Watch? They did exactly that, right?
True.
It launched with Android, and they just recently pushed Tizen out to it.
Right, but how much of a
There's no saying that they wouldn't do that to the phones.
How much of a market share are you playing with those watches? Not a lot. There's not a lot of units in the marketplace, and
that's a very good point.
That's still time to do that. But with 30% of the marketplace, to yank the rug out from people and then introduce a new OS.
Sure.
I feel like what I would do if I was at Samsung is I'd put out one phone, see how it does, get people talking about it, to get developers interested, like Eric mentioned, and then slowly roll it out as an alternative. At least put one out there to see how it does.
They should pull a Microsoft and put out one Nokia phone, or pull a Nokia, put out one Nokia phone running Android, and then decide, maybe we aren't going to do that.
Yeah, but I guess the question is that if they did that, let's play the hypothetical. Let's say they pull Android from their phones and the Samsung Galaxy 6 is running Tizen. Is the fact that it's Samsung enough of a mover that developers would jump and start, and would show up? I mean, would we have all the apps that we would need for it, or would you have that same kind of lead-up time, of years of development like we've seen with Android?
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that happens. Right. You know what I mean? I don't think that there is that kind of support right off the bat. If there is a switch to Tizen, it's going to be it has to be kind of like a also ran type thing. Like they're doing both at the same time, which raises the question: is it okay for them to do both at the same time? Due to the requirements of the Open Handset Alliance, the agreements that they've made with Google about their dedication to Android and not developing for creating for other platforms. So I don't know. So yeah, and now just kind of saying that out loud, that's a pretty sticky place for them to be in, right? Because they would have to be okay of doing a clean switch if that's the case, and that could be self-assured destruction in some way, maybe not entirely, but
can you launch a new phone with a new OS without the Netflix app, or without without all of these key apps? And what does it take to do that?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Samsung would just create their own Netflix, though. So,
right, because that'll do great.
Well, that's just the Samsung way. Yeah. Whether it does great or not, they think they can pull that off. So let's see here. A new Android security threat to talk about. Blue Box Security says that Android, certain apps can pass verification that allows them access to highly privileged programs in the OS on unpatched versions of Android. So it's called Fake ID, and they call it that because it mimics the real world scenario of like someone going to a bar and using a fake ID, and that gives them access, even though it's not a valid. Yeah, it happens every once in a while.
Really?
You have stories, I know you do. It would allow a malicious app to say it was, for instance, Wallet, for example, when in fact it's not, and then it would gain the access of that app as a result. Now, Google has already issued a patch to Android partners, as well as the Android open source project. Google actually told Android Central that it has ensured that Google Play and verified apps, which is also known as Bouncer, will catch any apps showing this vulnerability, and that no apps on Google Play show evidence of that exploitation of that vulnerability. So there is that. I don't know. Are we back to the standard advice that we give on all these things, which is stay away from untrusted third-party app stores?
I think
common
so.
sense.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah?
I think you have to be, though. I mean, how often do you use third-party app stores or third-party apps?
I don't use third-party app stores, but a lot of people do.
Do they really?
Even when you sideload, doesn't Android prompt you at this point to give it permission to scan? Because I have to sideload my own app because you actually can't, as a developer, you can't purchase your own app. So, and obviously when I'm developing or whatever. And so, I mean, it sounds like even if you sideloaded, that Android could potentially let you know that something's going on here.
Yeah, I believe Bouncer is built into Play Services, which is updated independently of the OS itself. So, and Play Services is supported, I think, back to Gingerbread.
Yeah.
Even so, Google can roll out an update to Bouncer that says, "Hey, look out for this thing over here," and even phones from 3 years ago will get that security update.
Yep. Agreed. So it might sound big and looming and scary, but ultimately, I think what this ends up being is kind of proof positive that the changes that Google is making to security, not necessarily tying it into just the new version of Android, but to integrating those changes into Play Services like you were talking about, Eric, and kind of integrating that detection into Bouncer so that everybody gets access to it. It's a really smart way for Google to kind of manage these things. The problem is a lot of people that report on these stories, they either don't know that or they don't or they don't give it enough credibility, or I'm not sure what happens there, but a lot of times you see these kinds of security stories reported and that fact is overshadowed. It's just insecurity. It exists, but it's not.
Danger.
Oh,
malicious.
actually, Google has a really good system to detect and protect.
It's got a bouncer.
It's got a bouncer.
I'll just trust the big guy at the door.
Yeah, speaking of getting into a bar with a false ID, it's got a bouncer.
Going with that
See?
metaphor. We're just going.
Hey, there we go.
Rolling with it.
All right. Well, there we go. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Chromecast?
Let's talk Chromecast.
Chromecast, happy birthday to Chromecast. 1 year old, millions sold, and 400 million casts in the first year, according to Google. 400 million casts from Chromecast. Man, I'm a big fan of Chromecast. I've talked about it on the show. Absolutely love it. I moved to New York and I didn't plug anything back into my TV, all the different boxes I had except for my Chromecast, and I still haven't plugged anything else in. If you own a Chromecast and you want to celebrate, if you're in the U.S., and you don't already have a subscription to Play Music All Access, you can get 90 days free, 3 months as Google's gift as a way to celebrate. If you do a Google search for Chromecast promotional offers, you'll see that. So you can get some free all access time if you want that. And of course, quick reminder, Google now has their site actually showcases all the Chromecast capable apps. And the list has gotten pretty long at this point. All the big ones, plus like ESPN and a few relatively new ones recently. And yeah, I mean, some that I've just absolutely not even heard of. So happy birthday, Chromecast. Chromecast was amazing, I think, mostly because the price was so low and it was so unexpected. I'm still not completely clear if it's Android or Chrome. I think it's, that the name seems to imply that it's Chrome. I think the code is actually kind of a hybrid of the two. But what a great little device. So successful. I just want them to kind of speed it up, and I want every single app to have Chromecast in it. But we're starting to see casting your entire screen from your device to your TV, which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, just a great breakout hit for Google.
And if you're in the U.S. and you don't have that membership to Play Music All Access, it's kind of like the Chromecast. I mean, you're getting one for free, essentially. You're either getting the Chromecast or you're getting the 3 months free, however you want to look at it. So,
I love my Chromecast. I got home last night I went to the airport. I'm like, all right, let me relax, watch some TV. Pulled up Plex, pulled up, Halt and Catch Fire, watched the 2 episodes I missed. It was so smooth, it just works. Yeah. I love it.
What about you, Eric? Are you a big fan of the Chromecast? You use it?
I think
Any
I've got
complaints?
2, actually. Yeah, I ended up with a couple of them in my house. So I pretty much don't use anything else except either the Chromecast or a whole PC plugged into the computer. One of these is better than the other.
Yeah, absolutely. One of them's a little bit more simple than the other.
At some point in the last 2 weeks, and I apologize, I don't know with whom or where or when.
It's been a crazy week.
It's been a crazy week. But there was a specific conversation about television viewing patterns generationally. And it was an older person at dinner, and I'm not like super old, but just like an older generation who was just like commenting on the fact that it seems as if a lot of, younger people aren't, watching shows on cable and they're plugging in, they're using, and I was talking about Chromecast and explaining, I'm like, yeah, no, with this, like, I don't have cable. I plug in the Chromecast, everything's going from my phone or my tablet, and or in the case of my TV or my computer to my TV, and it completely changed the paradigm of how we watch TV, all in a, And not the Chromecast changed the world, but this is continuing that trend of that shift in television watching, and that, you know, a lot of people are just watching directly on their computers, laptop in bed, you know, like that sort of thing. It's become different than you need a big TV and cable and all this and the 900 channels and stuff like that. I think you're really seeing a cultural shift that's happening right now, and Chromecast is a part of it.
Yeah, and of course, Android TV, which is the next kind of living room initiative, kind of extension, I would say, which is going to integrate Chromecast into the deal. That's expected out by the end of the year. I have an Android TV device. It's the developer developer kit, so I have that, you know, hooked up at home, and I've been using it a lot. It has its own frustrations, I have to admit, but
it's a developer kit.
Yes,
so,
exactly. I don't judge it too harshly because it's early stages, it's early hardware, and it's they're developing onto it. But one thing I do notice is that it gets confused between its Chromecast functionality and its Android TV functionality. So it's always a cast point, but sometimes I'll connect to it with my Netflix app, and instead of going into the Chromecast version of Netflix, it ends up launching the app. So then I have to go into the controller, and I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted. I just want to click this video and send it to Chromecast, but instead it's in the Netflix app. It's almost like I'm there controlling.
It's almost like layers in Photoshop. You have to like send to back.
And I know that they'll work that out. They'll work that out. Right now it's a little frustrating, but I'm just, you know, fortunate enough to have one of those few models and kind of see it at this early stage.
Lucky.
I totally realize that. But yeah, I think it'll get there.
How do you orient the box itself? Do you have it upside down with the points sticking up, or the points sticking down?
I have the points sticking down.
The way it's supposed to. The way it's supposed to be.
I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah,
that's interesting. That was a weird design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. And it gets really hot. By the way,
it gets hot, doesn't it? And also that, like, I feel like at least from when you had it here in the here in the studio, the weight of the cables is heavier than the box itself. So like when I had it here, it was kind of going up, like the HDMI
because the cables were hanging all the way down there.
True,
probably.
but in your setup, you know, like if
it depends on your setup, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't notice that at home as much, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, let's wrap up a little hardware with an email. That's not about hardware at all, but rather about the little controversy that I missed out on last week, as you guys declared your hatred of in-app purchases. I didn't even realize it was so heated, the hatred for in-app purchases. But Richard writes in and says, the issue is not with in-app purchases itself. In-app purchases is just a payment method, generally simpler to use and with less friction than paying for something from the Play Store. It can be used to purchase content, as Ron well knows, and he's alluding to the fact that I work in comics and comic books are sold in apps through in-app purchases. Rather than either having a separate app for each comic book or having to send people out to a website to make a purchase, in-app purchases make things fast and easy, meaning happier, satisfied users and more spending. Something which we all know and understand implicitly, but you might not be explicitly obvious unless you're a developer who has looked at in-app purchases, is that some are considered consumable and some aren't. The difference is very simple. A consumable in-app purchase can be bought more than once because it gets used up, while a non-consumable in-app purchase is bought once and permanently owned by the user from that point. A comic, you buy it once. A game unlock, you buy it once. 500 gems for US $25, you can buy it again and again and again and again. A 2-hour game boost, you can buy again and again and again. It may be a bit more complicated to explain than the simple in-app purchase / no in-app purchase line, but I think that the consumable / non-consumable line is far more important. Non-consumable in-app purchases have an inherent cap that can't really get addictive, but they still allow developers to make money. They're not the in-app purchases that everyone is getting upset about, and it's a pity that it's turned into anything with in-app purchases is evil, when that's just not the case. So
excellent email.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a great email. I love the difference between consumable and non-consumable, and that was something that we didn't articulate very well.
Yeah.
But to be clear, the way I remember it, we didn't say in-app purchase is evil.
Right. I would agree. Although we definitely got email from a few people saying, like, how come you're hating on in-app purchases?
I got people writing to me going, did you see what they said? And like, it was like...
We should like play back the tape. But we said that it's easy for particular types of in-app purchase. It makes it easy for children and for users to spend a lot of money on stuff. And when an app is advertised as free, but in reality, essentially, you have to buy something in order to really use it, that's a little bit of a misadvertisement, misleading advertisement.
Eric, where do you weigh in on this? How do you feel about in-app purchases? What do you think?
On the one hand, I don't mind them in the Marvel Comics app that I use.
I do. but
Oh, Ron.
Sorry, I'm a fanboy.
Eric, after the show, I'll get you some Image comics, and you can see what good comics are all about.
Actually, I would like that very much. Yes.
Good thing you know a guy.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the issue more comes when you think that you're getting something for free or for a certain price, and then they pile on more just to do what you thought you could already do. And that's even more complicated than consumable versus non-consumable, because you can think you're getting a whole game and they chop it up into 5 different purchases.
Yeah.
So like that's the consumable distinction is excellent, and that's definitely the problem that games from EA and others have. But yeah, I think in-app purchases isn't inherently evil. It's just how you use it.
Yeah, and I think that's a great assessment, as is the consumable versus non-consumable. If I'm allowed to weigh in on the subject, I think in-app purchases can be great, both in terms of a consumable content basis, where in-app purchases, like in the comic book app kind of example, where you just say, boom, I want to buy it. You just click and pay for it. It just keeps you within the app. It's great. That said, there's been a lot of, not in the Android world, but actually it happened in the Android world, but Comixology, who's a big comic provider, pulled in-app purchases. They got bought by Amazon. They pulled in-app purchases from their iOS apps, and that got a lot of people upset. That said, people seem to just be adjusting and going and buying their comics from the website and then reading them on the app, so it hasn't really impacted sales that dramatically. But I think that in-app purchases, I would much rather, as opposed to seeing an app that is free and then there's an in-app purchase to unlock the pro version or something like that, I'd much rather have that than having multiple versions of an app in the Play Store, because I think that clutters and confuses things. So I think Eric's comment about it's the way you use them is really great. I mean, so it's not the process itself; it's the developer that could be evil or the developer that could be misguided.
Right.
So.
Yep. It's not the mechanism. Having said that, there's a lot of people making a lot of money off of in-app purchases. Most of the money in apps right now is being made off of in-app purchases.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
And, a lot of that's being made in kind of shady ways.
But people were making money through straight, Play Store purchases too.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw the Gem app for $70,000 or $70 or whatever. Right?
But nobody's buying that.
Yeah, but people did. I mean, it's shady's going to happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of being responsible and knowing what you're getting into. And the moment you see an app that is shady, then just deleting it, just moving on. So.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, so there you go, everybody that emailed in. I hope that helps. I hope that helps to clarify a little bit.
Well, your hatred of in-app purchases does help as well, too. I was shocked to see the venom.
Payment methods.
I
know.
I hate money.
I was like sitting there in San Diego, and I'm watching on my phone. I'm like, wow, normally Gina and Jason are really kind of, they're kind of, reasonable. They analyze an issue, but they just hate in-app purchases.
You jerk.
You didn't have time in Comic-Con to watch all about Android.
At all. Nope, none.
Well, let's take a break and thank our first sponsor of today's episode before we get to hardware, and that would be Lynda.com, helping you learn and keep up to date with your software. You can pick up brand new skills, you can explore new hobbies with their easy to follow video tutorials. Whether you want to design and develop your own website, improve your business skills, learn about mobile development, Lynda.com offers thousands of video courses in a variety of topics to get you started. Lynda.com, you'll learn how to code, create, and build Android applications in Java, foundations of object-oriented Java programming to using the Android API to create engaging mobile apps. In fact, Lynda.com just released a new course on creating mobile games with Unity, which is a cross-platform game engine. Super helpful tutorial there for any software you use. Photoshop, Muse, InDesign, Microsoft Office, and so much more. Lynda.com can help you stay current with product updates, learn all the ins and outs of your software tools to be more efficient and productive in your professional as well as your personal life. Lynda.com recently updated their Android app, actually, to provide, as we were talking about earlier, Chromecast is awesome. They now have Chromecast support, and the app offers offline course and video viewing, making it easy and convenient to learn, even in environments without internet access. Lynda.com users can move seamlessly between mobile and desktop applications. So wherever you are, you can kind of pick up where you left off. And, oftentimes I'm here sitting at my desk editing video. So I have another browser. I can just open it up and get answers to my questions on, in Adobe Premiere, because I have a lot of questions about Adobe Premiere. They never stop, apparently. So, and that's just one example. You can find all different types of software in there and a whole lot more. Over 2,700 courses, more added weekly. All lynda.com courses are produced at the highest quality, not like the homemade videos you're going to find on YouTube. Lynda.com works directly with software companies so they can provide timely training, often the same day new versions or releases hit the market, so you're always up to speed. At lynda.com, the instructors are accomplished professionals at the top of their field and passionate about teaching. And they have courses for all experience levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, all different types. Whether you're starting off or just kind of continuing onward, you can find something that speaks to you. Whether you have 15 minutes or 15 hours, each course is structured so you can learn from start to finish. And you can also search the handy transcripts that they add. They're super convenient. They give you all the transcripts so you can click right into a transcript and jump right to that point of the video and pick up from there. It's only $25 a month for access to the entire lynda.com course library, or for $37.50 a month, you can subscribe to the premium plan, which includes exercise files that let you follow along with the instructors using the same project assets they do. And you can try lynda.com right now with a free 7-day trial. Visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid to access the entire library. That's over 2,700 courses free for 7 days. That's lynda.com/allaboutandroid. And we thank Lynda for their continued support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right, let's get into hardware.
Oh, we were doing news before. I thought
Yeah,
we were doing hardware. We ended on hardware, though.
That's okay.
Where am I? What day is it?
I suppose we had, it's okay.
Yeah,
You're packing some baggage under your eyes. I
hardware.
understand.
Yeah.
We forgive you.
Let's talk about some interesting hardware news
Some interesting hardware news, huh?
You know what time it is. It's time to hunt for clues pointing to the next Nexus, right?
All right.
This is about the time of year that we do this.
Someone at Comic-Con asked me, like, so is Nexus dead? And I was like, they didn't announce Nexus was dead. And
Right.
So there you go.
So we have a little
let's
bit of
start
insight
hunting.
into this.
Let's do it.
But first, before we get to that little tidbit here,
What a tease.
sources, including multiple sources to the information and some to Android police, are pointing to a new Motorola Nexus device sporting a 5.9-inch screen. It's getting larger and larger and larger. A Moto Nexus phablet. Apparently, shortly after Google sold Motorola to Lenovo, Moto and Google started working on a large screen Nexus device that could utilize Motorola's hallmark features, touchless control, active display,
Cool.
Also possibly a fingerprint scanner, and to see a November release. So before we get to the second part of this thing, excited for a Motorola. I guess when Motorola was with Google, they had issues with the idea of a Motorola Nexus for obvious reasons that we've talked about, because there was a little bit, they didn't want it to seem like too much of an insider kind of access type thing. But now that they're separated, they can let their romance bloom. What do you guys think?
You get excited for a phablet these days, or what?
I kind of do,
I mean, that's
actually.
the thing, right? As soon as I hear the word phablet, I'm like, I can't take it seriously.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the word.
It just doesn't look pretty. Phablet is not a pretty word.
No.
That's the problem. Yeah. Fab.
Phablet.
Kind of looks fat. I don't know. Phablet. Yeah.
I don't know.
Not so much.
Phablet for you in your future, Eric? What do you think?
I want to. I love Motorola. I'm still rocking the Moto X, but I can't do like a 6-inch phone, and I got delicate hands. So
Okay. I understand. I think I could do this.
You have large man hands.
I could do this.
You've got like these.
I feel like every iteration of phone, I end up going larger and larger, and then it's hard for me to go back. Like
You're gonna be on the 10-inch
OnePlus
tablet.
One is 5.5 inch.
That's 5.5, and they're gonna do 5.9.
Oh,
so that's
man.
4 more inches than that. And this phone is ginormous. Wait, like in his hands, it looks
phone is
normal.
big.
Right.
In my dainty hands, it looks enormous.
It looks normal to me, Ron.
Yeah.
I think you handed him a tablet.
Right.
This is the Nexus
Okay.
5.
Oh man, that Nexus 5 looks like an old school iPhone.
And tiny next to that.
It's amazing.
Well,
Jeez.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I could do it. How about the second part of this? Part of the insider information was some background on Android Silver, which was apparently supposed to replace the Nexus program. And previously we discussed that possibility on the show. The Silver effort was led by Google Chief Business Officer Nikesh Arora, who actually announced his departure from Google earlier this month, leaving more questions than answers as far as how much firepower Google plans to give the Android Silver program. So I think it's still kind of a big question mark, but I doubt it doesn't seem like the Nexus program is necessarily going away. I suppose that means, is Android Silver going to happen? Probably will under somebody else, or maybe not, because if that guy was a big kind of cheerleader for it, you know, and backing it, then
you've got nothing to work off of at this one. we have no indicator of what's going to happen with this, do we?
Yeah. But it's, you know, it's a little bit of information.
Yeah,
it's a sliver.
It's a little tiny little bit that doesn't give you any answers. I don't know. I'd be very surprised they get rid of the Nexus program. Still, I said it before with Silver. Yeah,
it's not. All right.
Watched in 3 months. When Silver's dead. When Nexus is dead. Long live Silver.
So is Silver.
I knew they were going to do it.
We're done with Android. Wait a minute. Didn't see that coming.
Tizen. What?
Yeah. We'd like to announce our dedication to Tizen.
All about Tizen. Welcome to the new episode of All About Tizen, your weekly source of news, reviews.
I'm sorry. I have to announce my departure from the show.
Oh, man.
The Tizen faithful.
Oh, boy.
Tizen faithful.
We promise you'll be faithful in a couple of months. Just give it a chance.
Hey, it's got Netflix.
All right. How about some more Motorola news, Gina?
Yeah, speaking of the Motorola, a follow-up to the Moto X, Eric's phone, Daily Driver, is supposedly dubbed the X+1, may have leaked online in a few pics. Supposed specs to be taken with a grain of salt or maybe even a salt lick. But here they are. That was a good one, Jason.
Yeah.
5.1 inch screen, 1080p screen, up from 4.7 inches on the Moto X. Snapdragon 800, 2 gigabytes RAM, 32 gigabytes storage, no micro SD slot, 2900 milliamp battery, 12 megapixel back facing and 5 megapixel front facing cameras. Yeah, I checked out these photos. I mean, it's hard to tell whether or not these are actually real. Looks like they could be, maybe not. You got the wooden back option, dual flash going on there.
See, I question the validity of these photos because if you scroll down a little, Brian, those fingernails are far too manicured to be a fake photo. So I think, the clear Photoshop job,
I'm not sure that's manicured. Let's look at
What is that on top of it? What is that? Is that the projector thing or what is that? Or is that the headphone jack? No, the left.
Is that headphone jack?
Yeah.
That's a headphone jack.
Headphone jack, yeah. It looks like, I was like, oh, is that a projector?
It's a laser pointer.
It's a laser pointer. Cool.
Pulling out all the stuff.
Yeah. I like the wood background.
Potentially there's going to be a leather case, a leather back as well for the Kardashians of the world.
Jeez.
They're due, right? The next version of the Moto X, Motorola's kind of due to release something. Right?
Yes. Very due. I feel like, we're probably going to hear something, I would guess, in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So you've got the Moto X right now, Eric.
Yeah.
Are you like dead set, like whatever Moto does with the next Moto X, serious contender?
I'm pretty dedicated to Motorola right now. Like the active notifications thing kind of changed the way I use my phone.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, like that actually made me kind of believe in Android Wear. Like just at a glance info. But this seems believable because it's just a small improvement. It's not claiming to be a revolution. So I'll say, I'll believe that's going to happen, and I'd probably buy it.
Yeah, 1080p screen. You had to expect that was going to be the case, but that's a welcome improvement over, especially if they're making the screen a little bit larger. That's going to look really nice.
5 inches, that's good.
Yeah. Right. Cool. Well, let's talk about some, aside from phones that we don't know exist, let's talk about phones that we know exist because we've got them in the studio. So the first thing we're going to talk about, Leo handed me right before the show the Fire phone, the Amazon Fire phone. And I'm afraid to turn it on because it's synced to Leo's account.
I'm not afraid.
So there are it's a minefield galore here. Anyways, but we can take a look at the things that we were really kind of questioning and wondering about, right? When you turn it on, there's a lock screen that there's the 4 cameras, which, by the way,
Now you
looks
can't
super jank in person.
Yeah,
I do not like it
it's
at all.
hard to see because of the light in the studio and that sort of thing,
you
and just
got it.
Brian's camera skills.
No,
But
you can see him.
yeah,
You can
there
see
they
him
are.
pretty
So
clearly.
you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It
5 cameras.
It is very noticeable. So I actually had a meeting with Amazon at Comic-Con, and at the end of it, they pulled us out and like, oh, we've got the Firefly we could show you. And I was just like, oh, wow. I was like, you
Okay,
can totally
so you
see
saw
those.
it, yeah.
You can totally see those cameras. Like,
Yeah, you know, like on some phones, I feel like those little ports, either if they're for detecting light or if it's the the little notification light, they're hidden when you look face on, right? But that one camera on your phone, you can usually spot.
Yep.
This face, you can spot 5 of them. And oh man, it just feels like bolts.
Yep,
feels
it
like
does.
bolts that hold the phone
But
together.
there's no
It's
way
just-
around it. There's no way.
I know there's
yeah.
no, but is it necessary? That's, I guess, the next question, right? Is okay. So the phone looks like that, and then when you turn it on, you get the
lenticular.
Okay, but it's not spotting ahead. That's the problem.
Oh,
It's gotta,
whoa,
right?
yeah, there
So
we
when
go.
I
There.
get in there,
Oh, there you go.
when I get in there, now it's like it spots
3D
the head.
engaged.
Yep. I didn't even
Spots the head.
realize that it needed the head.
That's why these are here because
Yeah.
it
I know,
it
that makes
analyzes
sense, yeah.
your face and
Yeah.
and so it puts it around my perspective. Now, is it effective?
No.
Because if they put in all of this R&D around these cameras to give you that 3D perspective for the user, is it worth all that R&D and
No.
everything?
Oh,
Like,
even the icons in the app drawer do that?
Yep.
yeah, so the UI itself.
Move your head back.
Oh, yeah. See, so
Oh, wow.
like the camera, the camera, icon kind of shifts around.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
So yes, it's neat. Is it
necessary?
Does it sell the phone? Because, and I mean, arguably Amazon services sell the phone. So if you love Amazon services, that might be more of a key factor than anything. But
All I have to say is that if I'm a tourist in San Francisco and I pull up this wacky 3D map, and yes, I can find the Transamerica building on it, but I'm not sure I can get around the city with it.
yeah,
You know?
I don't know, man. Okay, so the kind of 3D thing, Eric. By the way, have you seen or played around with this phone at all?
This is the first time I've actually seen Amazon's demo of it.
Okay.
Like, I understood the idea,
Right.
but I guess I'm kind of trying to figure out the utility of it.
Well, yeah, and I think what I was hoping to see when I saw it in person is, okay, it's probably not the thing that's going to demo very well on video because it requires you to be standing in front of it to get the full effect.
Right.
But I don't even get like a fake 3D effect when I'm standing in front of it. It doesn't feel like when I'm staring at it and moving it, like I get this extra view into what it's doing, and it's awesome.
Nice, Brian. Nice, Brian.
That's exactly how it feels,
That's
Brian.
that's how I feel. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
The funniest part about this is in 2011, Google demoed this exact technology with just one camera in a device, which makes me wonder, was that?
What was it using? Was it using the gyroscope to kind of move around?
No, I think it was just, they were demoing, I think it was a Zoom at the time.
You got to be in.
And the guy just moved his head and the camera tracked his head.
Oh,
and
you're
moved.
right. And
Yeah,
and that
like
was
it was-
kind of part of what they ended up putting into Hangouts online, right? As far as like
Yeah, I think
the
so.
masks and the hats and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they abandoned the 3D tracking itself, but it was exactly what he was just doing with a plane,
Right.
with a building on it. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it feels total gimmick in person. If it doesn't come across on video, then well, there you go. So the other part of this is Firefly. Now, Firefly is the capability of having your screen off. So let's turn the screen off. Get your Snapple bottle on the table.
Live
here.
demo time, folks.
Live demo. It could all either work magically or fall apart. So we've got Ron's Snapple bottle. They are not a sponsor, but they are delicious. Okay, so you hit the Firefly button on the side, and it'll launch the camera. You take a picture of your Snapple, and let's see. Oh, I see the little fireflies flying around. I realize we're not perfectly framed, but that's okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so Firefly action in 3, 2.
How do I take a picture?
Good question. I don't know. Do you just tap the screen or something?
There you go.
There you go. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now do it. Boom. Is it gonna... No. Okay, we probably did that wrong.
think Leo demonstrated on BYB earlier, and you just kind of hold it over the image and let the fireflies kind of
detect it
on it.
Oh, okay.
You don't actually have to take a picture, and I think it's supposed to launch into a website, but Leo couldn't really get it to work either. So,
well, that's a glowing review there, Brian.
I'm saying.
So
What if you just kind of went in on the label or the logo? Yeah.
Okay,
There we go.
okay.
Oh, Jason did it.
I had to hit
didn't.
it straight on, and then it blinked, and it vibrated, and now we have a link down at the bottom. Okay.
Told you guys.
Good
now
job,
you can
Brian.
buy 24 bottles of Snapple Peach Tea.
Or you can have someone bring them to you at Comic-Con.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, available for $55.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's they'll get me started on that problem.
All right, so Firefly, as a utility, incredibly handy, or not so much. What do we think?
Well, clearly it was a breeze to use, as we just saw.
We were okay. Now, mind you, if you're in a store, you're facing it straight on. You know, we're kind of trying to do it, you know, arcing around for the camera. But I don't know. I guess that's a handy feature. I don't know.
Okay,
if it's...
I just did it. And it's cool.
Okay, all right. Cool.
That's
You were
cool.
able to get it to
was
work.
That worked. I didn't have to touch anything. I just found it.
Yeah. So,
I wonder if it would detect Jason.
It's kind of handy. Yeah, can I purchase a pack of 24 Jasons on Amazon?
Bobblehead, Jason bobblehead.
Nothing.
No. See, it doesn't even pick up the bobblehead that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
Come on, Amazon. Thanks, Obama.
Interesting. I don't know. That's about it. Mind you, this is not a review. We just
this
got
is a preview.
this phone
This is the first time I've held it.
Yeah. Before the show.
Yeah.
Early reports are in. Not impressed. There we go.
Slightly impressed.
Yeah?
I mean, the thing is that the lenticular whatever view, it's neat. It's neat. I don't know if it's required. I don't know if it's the kind of thing where I can't believe I can't live without it.
Yeah.
But it's different.
I suppose.
There you go.
I suppose it is
It
different.
makes you feel like there's a whole world living inside your phone, like you're looking through a window.
There's a bunch of small little people who live in there as well too, and
there's a bunch of tiny little fireflies that live in there.
They're packing your
You
Amazon
shake your phone, it
boxes
goes
for
flying.
you and shipping them out.
What's interesting is that, can you take the shot again? Let's get the snap out of the way. Okay. So here I'm on the main screen, right? And you've got the kind of the Kindle kind of style scrolling thing, and you can also pull up. Where is it? You can also get a drawer or whatever of your apps, right? But it's also got, if you swipe to the left, it's got a little menu where you can choose from apps, games, web, music. But that is also weirdly 3D, and you can't really move your head so you can see it. But the words are 3D, and they move too. See how?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So they're just doing this on everything, you know?
Because they have to justify the fact that there's 4 cameras on the front to do it with.
Right, exactly. So
And even like app icons for things that Amazon didn't create are just sort of like flat little cards that also
rotate.
No,
they do rotate a little bit.
Yeah, they move.
You can kind of see it.
What does a third-party app icon look like?
Here's,
what does Twitter look like? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just flat.
Yeah, it's flat, but
it's flat, but it's like
a
little rotate.
Do the thing with the camera, Brian. With the shot.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Accentuate, Brian.
There you go.
There we go. That's what it looks like, Gina.
I got the happy email from Amazon saying, "Hey, your app's been approved for Fire OS."
Cool. Congratulations.
So that was cool, but I was just curious to know, like, what are they going to do to my app icon? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just going to tilt it.
flat.
That's all. Yeah, it's neat, but again, you know, you've got dedicated Amazon users who are going to be like, Amazon makes a phone. Cool, I'm going to buy that. So
we'll see how successful it is. I have my reservations.
I'm more curious.
If it was ridiculously inexpensive,
yeah,
I think it would do pretty well.
It's
but it's
$99,
not. It's like competitive with high-end smartphones right now, and I don't know.
That's a tough market.
Speaking, well, let's switch gears entirely because the OnePlus One is kind of the antithesis to this. Exactly. This equation here. First of all, thanks to Casey Mills, who's the guy who extended his brand new OnePlus One to Twit. We bought it from him. Thank you very much, sir. I reviewed it on today's Before You Buy, so I'm not going to go into hyper detail with it, except to say that you can find that at twit.tv/BYB. I will tell you how I felt, though, ultimately, because
we don't get a clip. I like when you throw to yourself.
No, we don't get a clip.
We go to a clip.
The clip is you going to the site and playing. Right. But Gina, what's your phone situation right now?
Oh man! So my 1-year-old destroyed my M8. She was banging it on the floor, and then which she does, and it didn't seem like she was doing it hard. And then I picked it up, and the screen wouldn't turn off. And yeah, and so I was really bummed. I love the M8, but that same night, coincidentally or not, we got an email from a listener saying, "Hey, I've got this invite for the OnePlus One," and in a fit of impulse buying, fed by despair about my M8 being dead, I just went and bought it. So it's on its way. It's shipping. It's shipping now, so I'm very excited.
Fantastic. You have reason to be excited. It's a great phone. I've played with it for the past week, and I have security. See, I have my lock screen pin on now. See, I did that because of Eric's article. I encrypted my phone and put a lock screen pin on it.
Well done, Eric. Well done.
You made me do this, Eric.
I've been telling him to do it for years, but he wouldn't listen to me.
Thank you, sir. But no, it's a fantastic device. I've been really happy with it. The camera is actually pretty great and as you know, Gina, taking pictures of kids is not an easy feat. But I've been getting some really great pictures, even in low light, of my kids. That's super low light. That's like early in the morning. The sun had not risen. It was just totally kind of starting to get light outside. And
that's a great photo for a phone.
Wow, that really is.
That's without HDR. The next one is with. That's one of my complaints, though, is that HDR is too aggressive. It's like really processed, so you really see it. But you know, hey, it's effective at getting everything that's dark a little bit lighter. But so that's great. Okay, this is. Yes, these are all the photos from the BYB review. That's me looking sad. That's with a flash. This front-facing camera, same light. You can see it's a lot brighter, grainier. And then token off photo. So there you go. See, I told you. And then really good video quality too.
She's so big. What happened?
It's kind of
that looks really nice here from here.
It's good quality, I gotta say.
That looks great.
Pretty good. It's salty. She's eating a peanut for the first time, although she's eating the shell, and I'm trying to tell her, like, no, you don't eat the shell. Anyways, you know, give her a break. She's 1 year old, you guys.
Jeez, come on, Jason.
But ultimately, yes. So we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this.
She looks like a giant. That angle.
I was laying down at the picnic blanket, and she was above me. Terrorizing. But yes, Gina, you're going to be very happy. I definitely gave it a buy. For $350 for the 64 gig version, it's an absolute steal. It's up there. I mean, it's top 3 top smartphones right now. And you can get it for half the price of most of the other top devices.
Pretty cool.
I'm very excited. I'm like super geeked out about the fact that cyanogen is on the back of that phone. Like just the fact that like a phone is shipping with cyanogen. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's cool. You know, cyanogen. There's a lot to be said for what cyanogen does for the software here. They do something very interesting for true dedicated vanilla Android fans. Cyanogen is able to do a skin because, you know, they're using their home launcher, right? Is Trebuchet or Trebuchet, however you say that. But it's so close to stock that Cyanogen ends up being stock plus. So you end up getting all of these customization benefits, but still feel like you're running, you know, stock Android. And not all manufacturers can do that with their devices. They put these extra bells and whistles in there, and it really feels like it's not Android suddenly. And
that's cool. You can change the the scrolling effect.
Yeah, that's a Cyanogen feature. Absolutely.
That's really cool.
I can't even. Cyanogen got like Google certification, right? Because this phone ships with the Play Store and Gmail and Calendar. So that was the thing that I was worried about when Cyanogen went, you know, legitimate company. I was like, is Google going to certify these guys?
Well, and they, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they absolutely do. When you get it, you get that little folder that you get on any Google certified device now. That when you open it up, it's all the Google certified apps, you know, on the home screen as Google advises you have to do. So they're playing by Google's rules. They're just doing it with their own launcher. So it's a great device. You're gonna love it. It's just the invite system sucks. The invite system's stupid. Yeah.
Yes, and a few people have asked me. They have not issued me invites, so I got an invite. I used it. They have not issued invites to me. When they do, if they do, we'll work something out with listeners. I don't know. Yeah. We'll do a contest or something. I don't know, but we can figure it out.
Sounds like Gina just signed Jason up for a whole lot more work.
No. I don't know. We'll do something in the.
We'll figure it out.
Plus, we'll have somebody post
Yeah.
No, I'll do the work. I'd be happy
I don't mind.
that invite too,
I don't mind though. I'm
so.
going to be away on vacation, so you can do it for the next week.
I'm just kidding.
There you go.
I gotta admit, this is cool. I've been wary of cyanogen, but this is a nice phone, and I can't even tell the difference.
You're probably more wary of cyanogen because of the root ROM aspect of it, and this is kind of like cyanogen as the installed.
Yeah, no, this is cool. I would suggest this phone to somebody.
Cyanogen. Yeah. Like this is the consumer version of cyanogen. They're guaranteeing updates to Android for 2 years.
Yep.
And I don't know. It feels like so legit now. I haven't used cyanogen in years because I just didn't want to go through the whole process. But this phone I'm excited about because it's like this is Android being open source and this kind of other form of independent community turned company of super Android enthusiasts, right? Like these aren't Samsung software developers. Sorry, Samsung, but like these guys know Android so well. They've made a great thing. They're putting out a great phone. I love that OnePlus, like the company OnePlus, is kind of this, kind of upstart handset manufacturer who said, the major manufacturers are making crap. Let's go gimmick free and just make a great phone. Like I just love the whole story. The Smasher phone aside, I just love the whole story around both of these things, Cyanogen and the OnePlus coming together. So, and it's supposedly a great experience. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yep, cool. You will enjoy it.
We haven't talked about watches.
Okay, we got to do this quick because I just looked at the time and I'm like, ooh. Okay, so real quick, Android Wear.
Where?
First up, right here. Where? You don't have to go very far. First up is a gentleman who took to the forums, I believe it was Android Central forums over the weekend, to complain about an LG G Watch burning Gwatch, as Ron likes to say, burning his wrist because the contacts that came in contact.
Yikes.
Yeah, that doesn't look very good, does it? Apparently, LG is not going to replace it or something.
Is that a concern?
LG said not our problem.
Oh, Bryan.
They stated that the metals in use are copper and stainless steel. Basically, it was go away. So LG, I don't know, unless something has changed, it sounds like LG is not going to give them a new device, although those contacts look really rough.
Look at that. So there's that corrosion in the middle there is bad, yeah.
That's the Gwatch. Then we have the Samsung Galaxy, I always want to say that, the Samsung Gear Live. Yep. My Gear Live, and I'm not the only one to complain about this. If you can see that on the overhead shot here, Bryan, you probably can't. It's probably too far away. Although I think I put a link to the Google+. So that right there. So, okay, I'll show you the other side. This is the other side. It looks normal, right?
Yeah.
This is the side that's broken. What that is the charging base that snaps onto the back.
Oh.
Snaps so tight that when you go to pull it out,
it rips.
It tore it right out of the port.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, man, that's not cool.
So, and I've hated this charging port. This charging port can go die in a fire.
A Kindle Fire.
It just might.
It just might. Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So now, like, it won't even snap in. I have to, like, put a stack of books on it if I want enough pressure for the contacts to touch.
That's not cool. Why not just put a slim port, not slim port, whatever, a USB connector? Yeah, like.
I don't know. Maybe that would add to the girth of the.
I mean, how bad is that?
No, it's true. I don't know.
Right, like on the bottom of our phones.
I'm not Samsung.
Makes no sense. Come on, Samsung. Whatever. I bet you Tizen wouldn't have that problem.
Wireless Tizen.
It's true.
Mini USB. Thank you, creamy corn.
You're already creating content for our new show, All About Tizen.
All About Tizen, man. I've switched.
And finally, the Moto 360 apparently will be the first Android Wear device with an ambient light sensor. Kind of sounds like little, small news. It's actually kind of a big deal.
It's huge.
Because this, I can tell you from my experience with the Gear Live, is that when you go outside, like the setting to change the brightness is not easy to get to.
Oh, that's the worst.
And so, it's one of 5 brightness settings. It doesn't detect, whether you're in or out. So it's always that same brightness setting. And that can be a battery hog. So Moto 360, again, kind of proving that it's got some interesting features.
Moto 360 is going to be the winner, I think.
Wearables. Are you in or are you out, Eric? What do you think?
I'm actually very into the 360.
Yeah.
Which I was glad to hear about the ambient sensor, because one of the things I like about the Moto X is that, like, it kind of, when you pick it up, it'll display the notifications thing. So like it'll tell you if you have emails right there. And that gesture is perfect for a watch. And they're supposed to be using an AMOLED display also, so you'll use less power for that. The ambient light sensor would mean that it can also turn off when it's dark, and it will turn off when you just drop your wrist. So that like all of that adds up to being a lot more useful as a watch and as just getting better battery life on basically a notification device on your wrist. So all of that makes me very interested in the 360, less so for the other. Yep.
Shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All these frustrations aside, Android Wear, I've gotten really used to having it. And like I said on last week's show, when I forget to wear it, I realized how much I kind of enjoy not having to pull my phone out of my pocket for things.
Can I tell you, it was about halfway, not to always be talking about Comic-Con, but about halfway through, I had the thought that I was like, oh man, I wish I had that watch, because I was getting so many text messages with updates and things that were going on, and I was in the middle of doing things, whether I was in a meeting or dealing with fans or doing something like that, and I would get, and not every message that I needed to see every message, I didn't need to respond to every message. So if I could have just glanced down, that would have been so great, and had I known, I would have gotten the boring square version before the Comic-Con as opposed to waiting for the round one. I can't wait for the round one. Oh, I dream of it.
Soon.
Do we know when?
Well, they said sometime this summer. And
sometime this summer is up to September 21st, my friend.
That's only 2 months.
21st? Really?
That's when summer ends. It's when fall starts. Fall starts September 21st.
I guess, yeah, you and your calendar rules.
You and your details.
Labor
You and your
Day.
reality.
Yeah.
All right.
You and your facts.
Facts. Air quotes. All right, let's take a break and thank our other sponsor for today's episode, and that would be Prosper. If you had 72 hours, and you could have possibly $35,000 within those 72 hours to cover all of your needs, would you do it? Would you pay off your high-rate credit cards, start a business, do that home improvement project? All you got to do is fill out an easy online application, provide a few details, and see a rate online almost instantly. Prosper offers low fixed rates, unsecured personal loans. It's no collateral required. It has multi-year terms available. I could maybe buy a new Gear Live watch. I could probably do a lot more with one of these loans.
Buy several of them for $35,000.
That's true. Or I could, do a lot of stuff to my house that the list just keeps getting longer and longer.
You can embed the watches in the wall.
Ooh, a watch wall. A smart watch wall. I like it. Prosper is Silicon Valley's answer to personal loans. With Prosper's innovative peer-to-peer lending process, there are no outrageous fees, no raising interest rates, no setting foot in a bank. That right there is reason enough. Prosper has more than 2 million members and over $1 billion in funded loans. It's peer-to-peer lending, exactly what it sounds like, right? You're basically, Prosper is facilitating the lending of money from one group of people or one person into your pocket, potentially, if you go through Prosper. So it's lending from one peer to another. Just go to prosper.com/twit to check your rate instantly without affecting your credit score. And for a limited time, Prosper is offering Twit viewers a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. Go to prosper.com/twit. That's a special site just for our viewers. Up to $35,000 in just 3 days and a $50 Visa prepaid card. Go to prosper.com/twit. We thank Prosper for their continued support of All About Android and the Twit network. All right, just a couple of apps, but let's do it. Apps. Living in a material world. And
living in a material world.
Chrome is a material girl.
Yes. Chrome, the Google Chrome beta for Android, which is my default browser and has been awesome for a really long time. Like I set up a new phone in the meantime before I get my OnePlus One, and I had the regular Chrome, and I was like, what is this? No good. Got to get the beta. Got a big update with material design, redesign, and of course, Ron Amadeo over at Ars Technica did a fantastic rundown of the changes. They're mostly aesthetic changes, but he did a nice side-by-side of what the material design Chrome beta looks like next to the stable version. And mostly it's kind of what you would expect, kind of a flatter design, lighter. the prompts aren't yellow anymore; they're white. Nice. The new tab, when you open up a new tab, they combine the address bar and the search bar. Just a lot of consolidation, a little more white space. The incognito tab is now super dark, looks really nice. The drop-down address bar got rid of a lot of extraneous lines and icons and kind of take over the entire thing. It looks really nice. Google seemed to indicate that this was just the beginning of the material design redesign for Chrome, so this is just kind of the beginning. But I'm digging it. I'm digging it a lot. I am on the material design, on board with material design. Let's just say that.
You're in with the material.
Looks nice. I'm in with the material.
So now this is Chrome beta. At some point, of course, it'll roll out to Chrome stable, which is what I've been running lately, is the stable and not the beta. I might have to switch back. Eric, I'm sure you've had plenty of time to play around with the Play Store, the new Play Store design, which is now kind of materialized. If that is how you want to refer to it. What do you think about the changes? Are they helping? Are they improving the experience? Is it a little overboard? What do you think?
I don't think it's over. I think they look good. I think we're still gonna. It's kind of an evolving thing, and you're waiting to see. It'll have more of an impact once all of the apps have been updated to the material design. I got the Chrome beta and was using that, and it looks nicer. One thing I noticed is I've got an Android L tab with the Nexus 7 running Android L, and the Chrome tabs still don't individually fit into the Recents tab, which was one of the more functional features I was looking forward to. Everything else is kind of cosmetic, which looks nice. It's very nicer. It feels fun to use, but I think that the impact is going to be felt more over time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've really been liking the new Play Store. Every time I open it up, it just kind of pulls me in, and I don't know. There are many things that I like about the design that make me excited for more Google apps and just more apps in general. We're starting to see a lot of other developers kind of take their stab at material design. So it's looking good.
I dig it. It's pretty cool. Well, remember, about a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, sometime in the past when Google bought Zagat?
I remember that.
Remember that? What were they going to do with Zagats? That was the question I asked. Well, finally, they now have integrated Zagat's information into Google Maps with a kind of explore nearby function. So those of you who use Foursquare or even Yelp or any of those other kind of apps that utilize nearby functionality, you can get some pretty good content just within the Google Maps application, thanks to Zagats. Finally, that integration happens, which is really kind of a no-brainer when you think about it. I'm kind of surprised it took this long. And this article on the Next Web kind of positions it as going after Foursquare, which I think is a little
Foursquare is going after Yelp.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're all kind of tackling the same.
I feel like Foursquare is going after itself with the Swarm Foursquare split that they did recently, but that's another topic. But yeah, this is great if you're in Google Maps and you see, okay, this is where I am. I want to find restaurants nearby or want tacos nearby or whatever. It's right there on the maps. It's a great kind of simple integration. So it's neat to see that kind of finally happening. So,
it's got a nice look and feel to it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. They had done some integrations into, remember, Places.
Yep.
Places when that was the thing, and now Google over time has just been kind of combining all of its.
It's trying to figure out. It's the Legos. It's trying to figure out what the right brick goes in where or whatnot. Yeah. So, but hey, I'll definitely use it because there are times where I'm in random cities and we're like, we need fried chicken, and this will help us find fried chicken.
Requirement. Fried chicken.
Yep. So
yeah, I understand.
Good. I tried it out. My office is in kind of a weird, industrial part of Brooklyn. There aren't a lot of places to eat, especially at lunchtime. They're generally not open at lunchtime. But I tried out the Explore feature, and I'm a huge Foursquare user and Swarm, but I use Foursquare a lot for recommendations. And Google Maps turned up a restaurant with some great photos, some great reviews that looked delicious that I had never heard of, even after I had, checked Foursquare a few times around this area. So it did definitely surface something that I hadn't seen before. So that impressed me because I kind of went into it thinking, there's no way that they're going to have the data. There's no way it's not going to be as good as Foursquare, because Foursquare, especially here in New York, is really, really good because they've been doing this for years at this point. But I was surprised. It was good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Brian, if you want to take the shot, I could quickly show everyone how it works or what it looks like. So here's Google Maps, and we're here in Petaluma. And let me turn down my brightness for you there, Brian. So yeah, so if we go back to maps, there we go. Come on. No, that's my text messages.
That wasn't maps.
That wasn't maps.
That wasn't maps at all. Why did that happen? That was weird.
Let's not have the guy who's really tired do the live demo. Okay, so there's my map. And now you've got this down here. You've got the beacon, which says that finds your location. And then this is the new nearby tab. And that pulls up, okay, everything near me. It gives the temperature, which is nice. You can choose within a 10-minute walk in the evening. And it'll give a list of local favorites from My Circles, which is pretty nice at Google Plus integration. Dinner spots, quick bites. And these are all, pizza,
coffee,
eat and drink. So it's given me a lot of, and there's a lot of different. So if I'm looking for Thai, Japanese, or
that's pretty cool.
Sports bars, pubs, so it's pretty. Right off the bat, it's a lot of interesting information. I like the From Your Circles. That's really interesting. So yeah, and then you can change this to be a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk, 10-minute drive. So it expands that radius that you're searching for. You choose what time of day it is, where you are, because often a restaurant in the evening is a lot different than the places you're going late night. So yeah, so this is cool. I dig it.
Look at that button. That is like one of 2 buttons on the main interface. That's prime real estate.
Yeah.
There, it hadn't really hit me that button is like. There's 2 buttons on that screen, and that's one of them.
That's it, yeah.
On the bottom there. So they're serious about this feature. It's not better buried in the menu.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
So
and it's very useful, it looks like.
Yeah, so we go to the social club, and then I tap that, and that will tell me where the social club is.
Right next door.
Yeah.
You don't need to walk very far for that one.
No, I don't. Yeah.
That's probably not even a 1-minute walk.
Yeah. So there you go. So cool.
They should have that feature, not even a 1-minute walk.
Yeah.
So that would show up.
All right.
Awesome. Should we battle a little bit?
Let's do it.
Maybe get in the arena and maybe duke it out a little bit.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's just
so many.
I was gonna let that one drop.
Android Arena.
All right, I'm afraid to do this, but I think I already know the answer. So Ron, you were out last week, which means your streak.
Breaks my streak. Now, can we get a ruling from the chat room? Is because I was absent, is my streak broken?
Yes, because if not, then you could just take off the rest of the year and you'd win, right?
Ooh, that's a tempting offer.
I don't know. Whatever. I thought I was going to win and I didn't. Oh, well. Player FM wins with 53% of the votes.
Dang.
Who had Player FM? That was?
Not me.
One of the 2 guests.
Right. Let me check to be sure here. That was either Alan or Jason, and it was Jason Salas. Fine, the other Jason. Sure.
The other Jason.
There you go. All right. Jason Salas wins with Player FM, 0.1 for the guest. Die for Metal again wins 2nd place. I'll take that, 26%. Lanyard, 3rd place at 12%, and QR Wear for Android at 10%.
I like Morpheus XP in the chat room says Steak lives, and then corrected it Streak lives. I'm down with Steak too, Morpheus.
Just for the record,
so you know,
Steak's pretty awesome. Although Steak is not alive.
Where there are steaks nearby.
Steak is not alive though. It's important.
So thanks to Wade County in the chat room, our stats in the arena through week 29. Our guests are tied with Jason with 5 wins. Gina has 8 wins. And I'm sitting pretty in first place. Not only in first place, but with a career high of 11 wins. Yeah. So, and it's only July. Thank you.
Practically August.
It's impressive.
Yep.
But every dynasty
must come to an end.
Must come to an end eventually.
So Steak is dead. So
we'll see. Does
that mean I go first, or do I go first since I was out?
Oh yeah, that's a good question because you were out. So
go first.
Yes, you go first.
All right. I'll be real quick. My app is called Bamboo Paper. It is a kind of a very flexible notebook application, but what caught my eye is by the folks who from Wacom. And if you're not familiar with Wacom, they make tablets and all those kind of stuff. So these are people who know about the drawing. And so it was interesting to see an app like this designed by them. So I will open it up. It's very pretty. And actually, let me get out of here. So basically what you've got is when you open it up, you have a series of notebooks. I've got one that's here called Notes. I can add another one. I can add one. You can change the cover of your notebook. You can change the color, And then you can specify the paper type, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can get blank paper, single line paper, grid paper. Basically it allows you to make a virtual Moleskine in your tablet. So I'm going to go for gridded paper, so it looks like that. You can't really see the detail, but there it is. So I'm going to say yes, and we're good. I'm going to say we're going to keep that. And then when you open up the notebook, you can just start drawing. This is pretty cool. You can select from a bunch of different kind of pens or pencils or crayon or marker tips. You can change each pen has a different kind of brush to it, right? So depending on whatever it is, you can change the color that you want to use. So I'm going to use this blue. And then you can say, ooh, and you can draw something. Now, if you are an artist or somebody who's on the road a lot or utilizes...
that looks like a Picasso.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. You can erase it very easily. You can just go like that, right?
You just erased your Picasso.
I know. Well, good thing. What's interesting, and this is going to be a live demo folly, but you can import a photo, which I thought was interesting. So you can pull in photos from wherever. I'm going to go into my gallery. I don't even know what's on this tablet. And there's nothing. Oh, wait, there is. There we go.
Thank you, Bryan.
Okay, we're good. All right. So, for example, if for some reason I wanted to, there we go. So I brought in this photo here from Disney World that I took, right? And I can drop it in there. And let's say if you were like, we worked at Disney and we were talking about the changes we want to make to the statue, you could just pull it in here and I change the color to red. And I could say, okay, listen, around here, we're going to make that bigger, and then here we want to get rid of that. It's really neat to interact with other elements in terms of doing this. What's super neat, though, is the share ability. So you can take this drawing and export it out as an image and post it to any of the various places where you might want to post somewhere, whether it's to Instagram or to Google Plus or to wherever you might want to do that. And there's got a nifty undo and redo. It's pretty much just very elegantly designed, simple to use sketchbook. So...
And it has an intriguing name of bamboo paper.
Bamboo paper, yeah. I don't exactly know what that is. But yeah, so I dig it. So it's free in the Android Arena and Google Play Store. Wacom, which I think is a reputable folks. You can add multiple pages. Yeah, if you click that second screenshot there, Bryan, you can see, so you can have multiple pages that I can show you here also. So I can, let's see, so I do that. I can insert a page, right? So if you need multiple pages in your notebook, they're right down here. So I can go to page 1, go to page 2, and then start doing that, and then go to page 3 and do that, So, yeah, it's pretty neat. So, virtual Moleskine.
Bleak in the chat room says bamboo is their low-cost touch surface.
Oh, that probably explains a lot more.
So there we go.
So, there you go. So, yeah, free in the Play Store. What do you got to lose? Go draw, become an artist, do better than me. Go forth.
And share your creations with us at AAA@twit.tv or in the community.
Post them on the Google Plus page.
Yeah, maybe the community on the Google Plus.
Yeah, do that.
That's the better
And
option.
vote in the arena for this app.
There we go. Bamboo paper. All right. Gina, you are up next. And I will do my best to follow along.
Okay. Actually, you can install it and show Jason, but also the screenshots of the Play Store probably do a good job.
Yeah, like I can show off the settings, but I was trying to find a way to fire off the notification. I couldn't get it to.
It's not quite easy. It's not easy to do. So so my pick this week is called Flotify, like float. It is free, although you can upgrade to Pro to unlock all the features, and that's like $2.30. It's in-app purchase, but there's plenty you can do with this app without actually upgrading to Pro for free. What Flotify does, and I like the way that Lifehacker framed this, you basically get Android L style notifications on your KitKat handset, and there's no rooting required. So basically, as you're using once you've got Flotify installed, you get your notifications, your regular push notifications that would normally come through on the Shade are these floating stack notifications that can happen on the lock screen or after you've unlocked. That's all configurable. And you can kind of see them in the video there. They stack up and you can swipe away, or expand each one individually. You can scroll through them and you can configure how they look. Like in the video there, they're light. You can make them dark if you like. You can have it that when you unlock your phone, notifications pop up automatically. You can, and this is super, super configurable, what notifications you see kind of floating, popping over what you're doing. You can blacklist certain apps. So you can say, hey, Google Now, I don't ever want to see a Google Now notification, for example, because it's always there. You can customize the look and feel. Like I said, you can do dark, light. You can say if I'm in a particular app, like say you're, playing Flappy Bird or whatever, don't ever pop up over what I'm doing. So you can say, don't ever interrupt what I'm doing in certain apps. And it's just really, really nice. It's a really nice way. It's a good looking way to get notifications kind of in front of you without having to, without requiring you to pull down your shade and look at them. They're not quite as nicely designed as Android L, and there's a lot of configuration, as Jason's showing you right here. I'm looking at the settings here. There's tons of settings. You can say, show pop-ups after you unlock, on lock screen, on notification, select the apps that you want to include or don't want to include, apps that you don't want to get notifications on top of or not. I had to there's an initial tutorial that you kind of can walk through and see what you can do. And it took me a couple times. I was sending push notifications to myself through Pushbullet just to kind of see it working. I wasn't sure if it was working. So it's certainly not as smooth an implementation as actual Android L will be. But this is definitely one of the coolest features of Android L that I can't wait to get. And Flotify is a good way to kind of get these kind of neat floating stacked notifications before L drops. If you unlock to the Pro version, I think it's like a little more than $2. You get a few more features. You can interact. You can set a timer on a notification and say, pop back up in 5 minutes. And you can, you can customize it a whole lot more. So yeah, really cool app, Flotify, and that's free.
Excellent. Now I've got the preview. I missed that when I was playing around with it before the show.
Preview.
So I have it set up so that it'll show at the bottom, so you can obviously tweak where it appears and everything. So
right. So you did the round corners, the kind of dark. Yeah, and you can see there's nice kind of smooth animations. They kind of slide up. It's nicely done.
Yeah, I like it. So that is Flotify. It's free with an upgrade for all features, $2.30 from within the app.
Yeah, that's the current conversion. When I looked at it in US dollars, it might not be exactly that when you do it.
All right. Fantastic stuff. Actually had that on my list, so good snag there. I'm actually I had it on my list for Android App Arena, so it'll make it there eventually. The other arena, not this arena.
Are you going to do Tizen App Arena?
Maybe. If that happens, I guess I'm going to. I guess I'm going to have to. So, Eric, you actually are doing an app that I've been very curious about. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay, then. Cool. I'm demoing Dash, which is a driving tracker. Optionally, you can use this with an onboard diagnostic plug for your car. It's a little Bluetooth adapter. They range from $20 to $100. I've been using a cheap $20 one. It's not necessary, but the primary function of the app is to track your driving, and it monitors how much you accelerate, how many times you do a hard brake, how far you're driving, how long you're idling, and it'll tell you ways you can improve your fuel efficiency. I'm only kind of interested in that, but more interestingly is that you can get like a dollar amount attached to every trip you take. So driving to work every day, it can tell you, okay, that trip cost $3, which is more tangible and useful information than how much a tank of gas costs. Also with the adapter, it can analyze any check engine lights that you get, because check engine can mean one of 100 things. It will tell you what sensors are going wrong or what the problem is with your car, so you can identify the problem without having to go down to a mechanic shop or an auto parts store. Yeah, exactly. I think you've got your car already in there, so you can also store your VIN number, your license plate number. If you put enough information in there, it'll even give you the Kelley Blue Book value of your car.
Oh, I'm wondering.
Yeah, so...
yeah, I'd say outstanding, sure. Oh, I don't have the odometer in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. Let's see. Oh, private party sale, $8,400. Ooh,
there you go.
Trade in $7,320. I'm sitting on a deal here.
And that's information that can be hard to, like, if you try and look that up online, you've got to go through 15 different things to get that information, but it'll also show you, I think you passed it earlier, the finding gas nearby, what prices are. So it's just any information you could need in your car is in this app, and most of it's available even without the adapter. But I recommend that if nothing else. So if something goes wrong with your car, you've got that thing in there, and you can diagnose a problem on your car by yourself.
We also has leaderboards, so there's kind of the sharing function. So I can see that you're at the top of the list. You're obviously a dedicated Dash user. Look at that, Dash miles 426. You're blowing everybody out.
I live in Atlanta. Everything is at least 20 miles away.
Oh, so true. So very true. Very cool. It makes me want to get one of those adapters. How much do they cost? Are they very expensive?
It depends. Like there's cheap $20 adapters you can get. The only downside with those is depending on the model and your car. Yeah, that's the one I've got actually on the video there.
It's $10.
Oh yeah. The only downside of that is depending on the car or the adapter, some people have found that like it'll draw power even when the car's off.
Oh.
So the first few times you use it, you need to make sure that it's not going to shut your car off after a couple of days not using it.
Don't want that. No, that'd be a bummer.
If you're worried about it, some of the higher end ones will shut themselves off, so you don't have that problem. Yeah, like that one there.
$69 for this adapter, but still very cool. It's like bringing your smartphone smarts into your car and analyzing how you drive and how your car is operating. That's cool.
Your car's already spitting out all this information anyway. This is just finally harnessing it.
That is really cool. I love it. Yeah. So that is called Dash, and it is, it's free as well.
Yeah. If you're searching for it on the Play Store, by the way, I'd suggest searching for Dash Drive Smart, because the first 15 apps you'll get are Diner Dash and a whole bunch of other junk.
And you'll just spend a bunch of time trying to wait tables in Diner Dash. And you'll be like, wait a minute, this isn't what I was looking for.
Efficiency at all.
Excellent. So that is Dash. Check that out. All right, mine will be pretty quick here, but I kind of like it. It's called Flib. And basically, it is a easy to understand smart converter. So first of all, you've got all of these different things. So is there a currency one in here? I want to see if maybe there's a currency one in here. Oh, no, but you can add more. You can give them a request to add more. It's more about like you've got angle. So I can pull that up and, you can do all of your different options, radius, degrees, whatever you want to do. It all kind of displays in this pad right here. And it's just kind of a cool, well-designed, I think, pretty kind of straightforward, this is what it does style converter. There's also a way to kind of change. Oh, yeah. When you first started, it pulls a rant. Why are you smiling at me?
All That Android episode 135.
Oh, you jerk.
Ron reviewed Flib.
Oh, you jerk. Well, it's really good. So there you go.
And if it,
oh my goodness.
And if it helps you for any reason, it did not win. IP Cam Viewer Lite won that week. So
well, you know what? I didn't mean Flib. I meant Flip Currency Converter.
Here you go, Brian. Here's the wiki.
Oh man!
And if you scroll down,
your smile was piercing into my soul.
I was waiting for the moment to interrupt, and I felt really bad. So if you scroll down to the arena,
I don't want to know.
There it is.
I don't want to know.
Flib.
I want to know what it looked like then.
It looked exactly like that. That's why I was just like, wait a minute. That looks very familiar.
What one? Oh, so system panel?
IP Cam Viewer Lite from Bryan.
Okay.
Bryan, who was our guest.
I remember that was Bryan Klug.
Bryan Klug, yep.
Yep. Man, you want to know something too? This is so weird.
What?
My initial pick was an app called Flip.
Flip. Okay.
Flip. Currency converter.
All right.
And then when I did the search, I did it and I clicked on Flib, not realizing that I clicked on the wrong one. And then I looked at that and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool app.
So then I started playing with it.
Yeah.
I should have just went with my
with
my gut.
Is this our first tank?
I don't know if it's a tank. I like the app, okay? It's called Flib. You should check it out. You probably already have because it was on the show. Whatever. All right. I don't know where to go with that one. It's part of the poll, so people have the ability to vote for it.
Finish the demo, please, by all means.
No. All you really have to do is go back to that episode and check it out. But it's called Flib, and you'll like it. It's for converting things. And maybe next time I'm on, I'll come back with that other thing.
Listen, I am going to keep this streak going no matter whatever it takes.
Apparently so. Your smile, man, it hurt.
I'm sorry.
It pierced into me.
Because it was the kind of thing where I was like, I think I did that app, and I couldn't remember if I did or if I just looked at it. And that's why I was like looking at the wiki trying to get it.
Look, folks, 172 episodes.
It was episode 135.
3 to 4 apps in each episode.
It was 172, so it was 40 episodes, about 40 episodes ago, November.
Lots happened.
That's a lot. We were talking about Dalvik. So
yeah. A long time. That's back before art, pre-art.
All right, fine. You can go to AAApoll.com/172 and you can vote for your favorite app. Thank you. It's a sad day for me.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen.
But, hey, I might as well be the one to do it because I'm already losing this year.
Well, now, and to be fair, a few episodes back, I had picked an app that was renamed. That was previously done in the arena, but had a different name, a different design.
Okay.
It's going to happen after nearly 200 episodes.
To the best of us. Happens to the best of us. I picked the Google app a few episodes ago. It happens to the best of us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a harsh one. But that didn't make it to the air.
It's still coming in second.
Oh, well,
so there you go.
We'll see what happens. Flib might have its day in the
Flib might have its day. It didn't win last time. Maybe it'll win this time.
Sympathy votes.
And if it wins this time, you get half a vote.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. That's fair. Oh, so now we're going to have half scores.
Halfsies, yes. All right. So, AAApoll.com/171 if you want to vote and let your voice be heard. 172. I'm all discombobulated now. Let's just end this show. It's been a great episode.
Harlequin in the chat room says, on top of this, I went to install Flib and I already had it on.
Sign of a true fan. There we go.
Good job.
Right on.
Okay, brother. It's okay. This is what you get for getting a Google Watch and not getting me one.
You know what? I need a vacation. I'm taking next week off.
Take it off.
I'm not going to be here. You guys do the show without me.
Approved.
Eric Ravenscraft, it's a pleasure having you back on the show, and we need to have you back again. Really appreciate it. I'm happy you could be here for the ultimate fail. That had nothing to do with you, by the way. Everything to do with me. So, writer at Lifehacker, where can people follow your work online, social, all that kind of stuff? Where can people find you?
Easiest is Lord Ravenscraft Twitter. I think I'm just Eric Ravenscraft on Google Plus when I post there anymore. And ericravenscraft.kinja.com.
All right, excellent. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, and we will have you back very soon. Let's see here. So, Gina, what you got? I imagine it has something to do with ThinkUp, maybe.
Yeah, been working on ThinkUp. Go to thinkup.com. We got a free trial, full 14-day free trial, no credit card required. You just sign in with your Twitter or Facebook account, try it out. And when I'm not working on ThinkUp and when I'm not doing All About Android, I am hosting This Week in Google here on the Twit Network, and that airs on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You should come on by and watch it. I'll be on tomorrow with Leo and Jeff and I don't know, maybe somebody else even.
And company.
And company, yes.
And chat. Awesome. Thank you, Gina. It was a pleasure. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Ron.
I was struggling with how long to let it go. Like, did I let you do the whole review?
No, I think you did.
Did I do the right? Was it right? Or
I don't know.
You tell me. Yeah.
I honestly don't know. All I know is your look hurt.
I'm sorry.
It was painful to me.
Now I feel bad. Go to about.me/RonXO where you can find all my insanity on the Twitter and the Instagram, the Google Plus, and all that fun stuff. By day, I work at imagecomics.com where we rock San Diego Comic-Con, and we've got tons of great books like Saga and Sex and How-Toons and Outcast and stuff like that. So definitely check it out. We got digital comics there on imagecomics.com, DRM free that you can download and just load into your e-reader. And additionally, if you go to ronxo.thinkup.com, you can see some of the highlights of my weekend at Comic-Con, which is pretty cool, which I particularly liked that it highlights the fact that if you scroll down, so Scott Porter, who was on Friday Night Lights, is a big comics fan, and I met him at Comic-Con, gave him some books, and he started following me, and it highlights when a verified user follows you, Gina, so I like that. Look at me demoing your product. Scroll down.
So I know. Look at this.
Yeah, see, says, wow, see, a verified user followed Ronix. So pretty cool.
Wait, who was he on Friday Night Lights?
He's the quarterback guy, the guy who throws the football. Yeah. So.
Right. That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Nice.
He was on The Good Wife. There you go. So, but anyway, yeah, Think Up is awesome. So, good times.
Radical, I totally agree. I love Think Up. Cool. Thank you, Ron.
No problem.
See you in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Brian.
Jason.
What's going on with you?
Not too much. The usual, if you want to know how to do stuff, I do a show on Thursdays with Padre, and if you any of you live watchers out there want to treat, you can hang out with us tonight, because I'm pre-recording an episode with Padre after this, so.
That's right.
I'm not even sure what we're doing, so it's going to be one crazy episode.
Excellent. I advise putting your foot in your mouth.
Yes. I'm pretty sure we're going to be reviewing apps, but probably none that you've done before. So.
Okay, good.
Because that would be embarrassing.
That would, wow. Hate to be that guy. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. You can follow my music on yellowgoldmusic.com. My Misfits cover album is there. Just look at the blog. And then, of course, I have a brand new show. I think it's 6 episodes in now. It's Android App Arena. Might sound familiar. Go to twit.tv/arena. I review 4 to 5 awesome apps each week in detail on that show, as well as talk to developers every once in a while. So it's twit.tv/arena. And check out the show. Last episode was all about retro games, modern games with a retro kind of take. And it was a lot of fun because I got to play a lot of awesome games. So there you go. But that is it for this week. As always, you can leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. Leave us an email. Drop us an email at aaa@twit.tv. You can find the show. We're at Android Show on Twitter. We're on Google+. Just search for All About Android. There's a great community there. We are on Reddit, twit.aaa.reddit.com. And let's see, what else? The important thing is to remember twit.tv/AAA for show notes and past episodes. You can also find our episodes on YouTube and iTunes, all the important places. Catch us live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android. Or Tizen, or one of those.
Something.
I think we need to do some breaking news here. This is pretty important stuff.
He doesn't have a cue.
Thank you. This is post-show breaking news. Very important that we take a look at the poll right now because, wow, I did not see this coming. This is unprecedented. Flib is winning 36% of the votes. A return. Thank you, Corgi, for your celebration dance. Although maybe it's a little too soon for a celebration dance.
A little early.
He's
just doing this to stall so you can pull up the poll.
All I'm saying is anything's possible.
Yeah.
Pigs are flying.
Yep, there it is. Flib.
I can't even believe what I'm looking at right now.
16 votes to 15 votes. This is the sympathy vote in effect, folks.
No, it isn't.
Erica, I don't have a shot.
Okay, maybe it is.
Yeah,
but
no.
As we always say, you never know. But
I kind of do.
All right.